Sometimes lost thoughts lead you astray. Then I cry, then I feel pain. Why do I suffer so much? I would love to feel your touch. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Save me before I pass out. Save me before I pass out. Before I pass out.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beautiful city streets of Monaco for round number 2 of Season 10 here in Moose Racing League. It is time to visit maybe the single toughest track in the F1 calendar for Tier number 5. We were already seeing earlier today the absolute chaos that the streets have brought to Tier 6. Let's see if Tier 5 can manage it any better. Probably not. It's Monaco. Of course, a 2.0 mile circuit, 19 corners, only one DRS straight, and even that is almost impossible to overtake over. My name is well, I think it is, Fallen Dan, and joining me in the booth today is none other than the same man it was last week. For the first time ever, I've had a co-caster 2 weeks in a row. It's Dreams. Welcome back, buddy, after maybe the most eventful opening round I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, Brazil was a crazy race. I'm still trying to remember, like, what happened. There was so much that went on, and I'm excited to watch this race, because I think it's going to be just as crazy.
Me too, but to remind you all of how last weekend went, of course we did have Aston Martin domination. Nicky G took home P1 in the standings with a race win from, I believe, pole position as well, so a very strong race from him. JT would come home in P2, the other Aston Martin. Jim Just Raged, representing Alfa Romeo as their team principal, got P3, but notably, Aston also got the fastest lap, meaning they've come out of the first weekend with the most possible points a P1, P2, and fastest lap. Literally untouchable first weekend from them, and they are hopefully looking to try and repeat honours here today at Monaco, though I will say it's a little bit harder. It is Monaco. I don't know how to stress that enough.
Yeah. With all my practice this week, it's a really difficult track. But I mean, I think Aston Martin have a buffer of almost 3 races.
Yeah.
They can afford to have a couple of bad races. But yeah, it was an incredible opening weekend for them, and just a crazy race. And to be able to manage a 1-2 out of all that chaos is just a testament to how strong those drivers are.
Yeah, not to dissuade from any other teams who might have had a slightly more than average weekend. Mercedes, Red Bull also scoring decent points. 14 points coming out for Mercedes. A P4 and P9 for them. Toast getting the higher end of the honours. And then Red Bull, P5, P8. Muck Mage doing a very good job for Red Bull. Will also be racing this weekend. We're seeing a lot of the same drivers coming through for round 2. I feel like this is one of those tracks where everyone has a chance of winning, regardless of your skill level within the tier, simply because of the chaos. It's all about avoidance and not pure pace, because the amount of safety cars that are going to come out will definitely even out the pace over the race.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, I've seen people win from 16th, not even making any overtakes, like just the race falling into their hands, but I think we're not going to see many safety cars because of it being Monaco, and the fact that the game doesn't like to give any safety cars. But I'd love to see some safety cars.
You say that. It has happened. In Tier 6 earlier today, there were 2 VSCs within the first 3 laps, and then 3 safety cars before lap 20. So, you know...
I have not raced Monaco in a while, but
that's fair.
From my experience, there's never safety cars in online races.
That's fair. Well, I'm just having a look through the grid to see if there are any new drivers represented today, and there is one making a reserve debut. That is Luke Morris, who I think actually was not here last week. Luke Morris driving for McLaren today, representing them alongside Vince, who finished P17 last time. Don't think they actually finished the race. And if you're wondering why we're still on our faces, it's because we were just getting them in the lobby. So now everyone is in the lobby, and we are ready to go for qualifying for round number 2. Let's swing it over to the better screen, and you can see the beautiful city streets of Monaco. It is weird that this track is basically just a country.
I mean, you can see probably we'll get a helicopter view that we can probably see the entire country in one shot.
It's ridiculous. And there's a beautiful mountain as well. I don't know if you've ever seen other pictures of Monaco outside of, the marina. It's a genuinely beautiful country. There is a literal castle in the background of that image right there.
Just like this own little haven on the harbor.
And Charles Leclerc's best mate lives right there. Right on turn 1.
Probably lives in one of those buildings.
Yeah.
Max, I mean, half the grid lives there.
Yeah, I think Lewis lives there now. I think he moved there in 2012.
Lewis, Max. Yeah, everyone.
Kimi obviously famously had the incident of walking to his yacht mid-race after the car conked out on him, and then just chilling in his underwear in a jacuzzi as the race happened because he just didn't want to go to debrief. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to get the same level of realism in this one, but we're definitely going to get people leaving the lobby.
Call me crazy, but I kind of want to see some rain.
Crazy? Oh boy.
Maybe I'm a little crazy for that.
That is
rain,
absolutely ridiculous crazy.
but I feel like rain would make this so fun.
It will. It will make it very fun.
Not for the drivers.
God, no.
But for us, it'd be really fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, there are 20 cars on the grid today. We have a full grid once again, and it will be a Mercedes who will be leading us away. Oh, never mind. They got beat out of the pits by an Alpine. Which one is that? Is that Benzo or is it Bouncy? It's Bouncy? It is. Good shout. All right. Well, Bouncy it is then, who will lead us away on the first flying lap here around Monaco. Of course, this is one of those tracks where it's survive first, drive fast later, but in qualifying, that kind of rule goes out of the window because you want to be at the front of the grid. You do not want to be in that midfield pack. You kind of sometimes even want to be rather at the back of the field than the front because you're going to have those issues of getting bogged down at turn 1 and at the hairpin.
People who usually are in that upper mid, like lower midfield, like that 8, 9, 10, we could see a lot of those guys just not like qualifying, like just starting at the back on purpose because they don't want to be. Nobody wants to be 8th, 9th, or 10th at Monaco. Like,
no,
it's not gonna go well for you, like at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I'm crazy, but my crazy prediction was true. JT Driven in chat says wet race.
What race? And also, we have a retirement. Mark Major's binned it out of the exit of turn 4 at the top of the hill and is out of the qualifying session. That was P4 from the last, or P5 from the last race, starting from the back. That's a new one. Never seen someone bin it on their outlap before. Either way, qualifying is underway. We are currently watching the perspective of Nicky G. He's on a set of medium tyres. Was on pole, was one of the fastest drivers last weekend. In fact, has ERS off for their first flying lap as well.
You have a minimum of 4 laps of fuel, so I'm guessing he's probably just burning some fuel.
Potentially. Bouncy is also on a lap and hasn't invalidated it yet. We are coming down now to the Nouvelle chicane. Difficult corner to get right. You want to hook the inside and try and open up the exit as much as possible, but you always have to risk the walls around Monaco. Then again, coming through to back, now through the swimming pool section. Oh, he's absolutely mullered the curb!
Didn't quite get.
He got airtime.
Get the rotation on the right.
Yeah, he definitely strolled it. Oh
yeah,
but
he's lucky he didn't DNF, honestly.
Yeah, full front
Very
wing gun.
lucky.
By the way, Nicky G now starts his flying lap. Toaster's also binned it at the top of the hill, by the way. So that's 2 cars that have completely lost it at turn 4. Toast car has not been cleaned up yet, and it will be now. As Nicky G will still be the first guy to set a flying lap, or at least a representative one, as I think everyone else is still on outlaps. Though there is a fair bit of traffic now in that end of first sector, early second sector. The Red Bull does a good job there getting out of the way. I think that's John. If John does work, mainly because Mark Major's retired.
Yeah, Bouncy already had wing damage, so he couldn't quite get the right. I'm guessing he hit the wall, I think, out of his left. I forgot the name of the corner.
The fast one after the chicane?
Yeah.
Tobacco. It sounds like tobacco, but it's not. It's the way
tobacco.
I get around it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had wing damage from tobacco. He hit the outside wall, kind of bounced around a little bit.
Gotcha.
OTC Pookie Bear. All right.
Oh, big invalidation as well there from Nicky G. Normbach sets our first quote-unquote representative lap time at a 1:12.7. I say quote-unquote. Poles are 1:11.6 in Tier 6. So we're looking for times in the 1:11s here.
I don't think that 12.7 is going to be that good.
No.
But JT did say wet race, so there might be some higher wings.
Potentially. Terms invalidated their lap. It's now going for a second one. The Alfa Romeo behind them, it's not Jim Just Rage, that's Midnight behind them. Also going on to a flying lap as Nathan goes P2. In the Haas gets a 1:12.9 and then absolutely cut the first corner as Jim Just Rage now crosses the line with a 1:13.5. Here comes the Williams. This is a Dutch Raven who was at the centre of a lot of chaos in the F2 race earlier on. I had a bad incident with him during the F2 race on Friday around here, where it was raining, notably, but only at the end of the race. So we didn't reach 100%. Lovely that. Dutch Raven does get a 1:12.8 to put them provisionally P2, now P3, as Luke Morris sets our first 1:11, 1:11.8, great lap from them, and Jay Clazer followed them through with a 1:12.1.
Yeah, 1:11.8 definitely seems better.
Here's Terms. Terms has been on a quietly solid lap, but it's not been setting the world ablaze. Great Ace sets a 1:13.4 ahead of them. Not the best lap, and it is a much better lap from turns this time around. It was a 1:13.6 with a invalidation last time. Now it's a 1:11.6. Perfectly done, but some 2/10 ahead. As someone who's just absolutely cooked it out of the front first corner. Is it a Mama? I saw that in the background of the shot. And a Mama's just gone sideways out of the pit lane.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carry on.
No, I literally cannot. I'm so lost.
That's
There's
fair.
so many people on laps.
There are, I think, 15 cars. Also, no, there are 14 cars on track. There's a Ferrari across the line now. That was Great Ace going a 1:12.4. The next cars across the line are an AlphaTauri who's set a lap, a McLaren who's set a lap, and Bouncy who is setting a lap. And Bouncy's lap hasn't been as good as anyone else's, but still could find himself on the front row of the grid if he hooks up that final sector, misses out by a 10th, it's P3. Now the other Ferrari, Normbach, up by a quarter of a second. He's in P7 currently. We'll put him close to P4. We'll get just within a 10th of it.
Yep.
Aston Martin next. That'll be Nicky G starting a lap. Then it will be the Red Bull. Yes. John does work. Who is a 10th down in the middle sector. And definitely is not going faster. What is going on your microphone right now?
Oh, yeah, let me get that.
Just punch the monitor behind you. Shut up! Either way, Amamo currently on a flying lap as we try to resolve the technical difficulty. Not necessarily a good first sector. 19.1 doesn't even have ERS on, so might just be burning fuel here. That sound has now been resolved. Let's see. Lovely. Thank God I've got your camera on tiny. I saw all of that. No one else saw it. No one look at his cam. No one stream. No one go back in the stream. You're not allowed. No.
Just my roommate. We all.
Yeah, everyone. We're gonna get introduced to him over time. Anyway, there's Nicky G. 1:11.2. That's.
2 seconds quicker.
Yeah, that's the kind of what we're expecting to see out of the Aston Martin boys this weekend. They are currently 1-2 in the standings for a reason. Nicky was the fastest qualifier last season for the majority of it, just never really hooked up the races along with them, but so far this season has tried to break that curse. One of the few cars... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was like... I haven't watched a lot of Nicky, but as you said, he struggled in the race. He struggled in Brazil. I mean, I think that race kind of really fell into his lap, what I can remember. But yeah, I think... yeah, it was still a great drive. I mean, I think he had a spin on like the second or third lap that really cost him. But yeah, let's see if he can put together a complete race at the most difficult track.
That is a spun Williams. That will be a Zoso, who's currently facing a wall. Oh, and there's been a huge crash. And JT is out. And there's an Alpine in the side pod of the Williams who cannot move. Is trying to un-Austin Powers himself.
Alright, guys, work together.
Alright.
God.
Okay, so the Alpine gets through. That would have been, I assume, Bouncy, because Benzo is on a lap. Benzo is one of the few drivers who hasn't set a lap yet.
Zoso.
Yeah, Zoso. Zoso's P10. Oh, poor Zoso, man. Unfortunate for him. Benzo only goes P14. Not a great lap from them, but I assume they've got another one in the tank. The only other drivers yet to set a lap, Cobb K and Vince. Though there are other drivers on flying laps as an AlphaTauri just gets out of the way. That's Jake Laser being let through by Terms. Terms, by the way, currently P2. Good lap from them.
But for Amaro, yeah.
I'm looking.
It's hard to get out of the way here.
Oh yeah. If you want to get out of the way, you got to do it very early in the lap.
Yeah, and it's always hard to tell because there's so many, like, some people are going for 2 runs, some people do multiple out laps because there's so much fuel that it puts on board, and so you never know like who's on a lap or it's a difficult track, and I think it's gonna be some of the faster tiers. I think it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. Nicky G boxers, they have set their fastest lap. Jake will also follow them in. Nathan is currently on a flying lap, has matched their first sector. Or has really taken the chicane tight, but has lost a bit at the exit of it. Now through to Tabak. How will they take it? Is right on board with them now as they come through the swimming pool section. They're up
the
by...
middle sector.
Yeah, big improvement, but it's just slow through that second section. And now has a slow Ferrari in front of them. Might not hamper them too much. Might actually give them a bit of a tow down the main straight if they're close enough. To the line, what can Nathan do? It is an improvement. It's a half a second improvement, but it's still only good enough for P11 because of just how close that gap is. P9 to 11 is 4 thousandths of a second.
That's insane. I think, one thing I noticed is that these guys don't like to take that second part of the swimming pool, like, over that curve. I've seen a lot of people avoid that curve when you can really just throw yourself over it.
You say that.
Workouts.
The first lap we saw around here was a guy sending it over the curb and into a wall, so...
Yeah, but you didn't get that the first part.
That's fair.
Enough right and then throw it left. But yeah, it's a tough track.
By the way, John...
blame someone for driving safe.
John does work on a flying lap representing Red Bull, the only Red Bull that will be setting qualifying pace here. It'd be interesting to see what they're able to do with that car, considering their performance last weekend, P8 in the end. From that race. It's just about matching their first sector. A 19 flat is about the net average that we're seeing from everyone here. It's all about that middle sector though. How much pace can he carry through the slow corners? Because that's where all of the time is made and lost around Monaco. Now the run. Let's go on board into the tunnel. The beautiful echo.
Look great through those double rights right there.
Luke Morris.
10-9.
Good sir, this is tier 5. What are you doing? That's almost as quick as my TT. He's cooked that. Great lap from Luke Morris. Good, what, nearly over 2 tenths? Over 2 tenths, faster than Nicky.
Yeah.
Nicky was... Oh, and John boxes. John was not happy with that final sector. Very interesting. Jim just starts his flying lap.
Get some shade in chat there.
Where? From who?
He said you're just slow, Dan.
That's true. That's
from
true.
From D-Master.
Well, that's fair. That's D-Master. He doesn't have a leg to stand on. He'll never win an MRL race again. Prove me wrong. Go on. Prove me wrong today. I'd love to see you try in tier 4. Anyway, Bouncy on a flying lap is up, by the way, up by 3 tenths in the first sector. Is up by another 3 tenths in the middle. However, I don't know if they've got the pure pace to be matching the front two here. So this could be just a P3 lap from Bouncy. Across the line they come. Oh, a little shake out of the final corner. Not able to get on the loud pedal as much as they'd like. It's a 1:11.2, 4 thousandths of a front row start.
Yeah, I mean, it's still 2 tenths from Luke Morris, but that lap looks better and better as more people cross the line. It's a great lap from Bouncy to get him, up into that fight again. He's gonna be able to get around and get another set of tires on.
Jim just raged now across the line. It's a good lap from him. 1:11.6 will put him ahead of terms. That's P4 currently locked down for the Alfa Romeo TP, who got a podium last time out. The only non-Aston to get a podium so far this season. I would be kind of shocked if JT somehow ended up with one, but that's besides the point, as Benzo has binned it in the swimming pool. He's gone, and I think he's hit the wall on the run into the second half. We're going to see now... as Nicky goes pole, by the way. Nicky has gone pole position. A 1:10.919 has somehow gone a tenth quicker than Luke Morris.
He's got your back in chat.
Say again?
So Chazzy's got your back in chat.
Thank you, Chazzy. Appreciate it. Anyway, Zoso now going to go for a flying lap. What can he do in that Williams car? Currently Williams P10 and 12. A disappointing
good
start
rotation
to
for turn 1 there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now up the hill. Run up to 3. Technically it's turn 3, but in reality it's 2. Now through 3. Definitely has the grip through there, but choosing not to use it. Gains a tenth and a half though.
18.9. 18.9's a good first sector that I've seen so far.
Yeah, 18.7 was the fastest I've seen out of Luke Morris, so just so we know where the pace is. He's about a 10th off pole right now, but that's not what he's going for. He's looking for our top 5, and that's exactly what he's on pace for.
Yeah.
Nicky G!
Nicky G. Yeah,
that's 2
a
laps
great lap.
back to back! He went pole and then went pole again. Saying, Luke, I
Those
dare
tires,
you.
they hold on pretty well for like to qualify. They're not great race tires at all, but Luke Morris coming out of the pits, he's only going to have 1 flying lap. He's going to set it all the marbles on this 1 lap for his team.
Yeah, Dutch Raven retires. They've
Dutch
binned it out of the
Raven
exit of the
exit.
swimming pool. As meanwhile, across the line comes Zoso. It's P6. Great lap from them. 1:11.8. Was able to find 2/10 in the final sector. Exactly what they needed to get themselves on the 3rd row for now. But Terms is absolutely cooking the first sector. And has got the Nouvelle right. Now into to back. What can they do? Can they keep it out the wall? Yes, they can. Now through the swimming pool section.
Another sector.
Oh, he's ever so close
there.
to the wall. Now through Raskas. Through the final corner.
Gets the nose in nicely.
It's a great lap from Terms. Where's that going to put them, though? It's good enough for P4. Knocks Jim off the front row. Misses out on 3rd by just over 0.5 of a second. Meanwhile, now behind them, the remaining Red Bull of John will start their flying lap. I'm trying to figure out where everyone is. Bouncy starting their final flying
Bouncy's
lap.
crossing, and then Luke Morris is going to be the second to last. I think Jake DeLazer is going to be the last lap.
We'll see. Terms is currently up by a 10th in the first sector with no ERS to their name, which is unfortunate. Yellow flag in sector 3. That's Rob Williams holding up, I think, a couple of cars. And Zoso trying to get out of the way. He's got 2 very fast cars behind him. He needs to move.
Oh, Luke Morris.
No, Luke spinned it.
Yeah,
At
he
the
got
top of
wide
the
for
hill.
turn 3.
Oh, and he's kind of held up Jake Laser's lap as well, because Laser's had to get out of the throttle. Has lost 0.5 seconds in the first sector.
Yep. That's the thing about Monaco. All these corners connect, and you have to open up each corner as much as possible. He didn't get the nose in for turn 3 on top of the hill, which didn't allow him to get the right angle in turn 4, and he hit the wall trying to get as much time as possible. I mean, that's the realities of Monaco. Bouncy's up 3/10 right now.
Does not improve. Bouncy, if he's not corner cut there and is not invalidated, is on for potential pole here. Now through the final corner, can he hook it up? Oh, he's clipped it all on the inside. To the line he goes. He's still got it. He's got it. Pole position for Alpine.
That last sector was good. I mean, he had a little bit of a moment out of the final corner, but it didn't really matter that much. But yeah, like I said, he vaulted it over the swimming pool chicane, that inside curb, and it gained him so much time. He got a great exit off that corner.
Amamo, the only guy left running currently, but it's not going to be quick enough to get anything through Raskas and through the final corner. They're not going to be improving on their lap. That means we are set for the grid, and it is an Alpine on pole. Bouncy sticks it ahead of Nicky G at the death. The last lap basically to be set at qualifying puts them P1 alongside them. The current championship leader, Nicky G, for Aston Martin. Luke Morris, representing McLaren, had a chance to go on pole, but binned their lap in Sector 1. They all start P3 alongside Terms, with a great 1:11.2 to put them P4. Jim and Zoso, 5 and 6. That's the 3rd row for you. Marmo and Normbach, P7 and 8. John, P9. And Jake Laser rounds out our top 10. And the rest of the order you can see now as I scroll down. Ferrari of Great Ace, the second one, puts it P11 alongside Nathan. Midnight and Dutch, P13 and 14. Benzo, the last of the completed runners to set a time, P15. And then the 2 Mercedes of Cop K and Toast, 16th and 18th. JT, who binned it, P17. Vince, who binned it, P19. And Muckmage, who didn't even make it to turn 4, has somehow managed to get P20. Congratulations goes to him for the biggest loser in qualifying.
Yeah, he says his controller disconnected. He says he may be garbage, but I'm not that garbage.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, we saw it. Right. I need to specify something here so chat can be aware. Chat, I don't know if any of you have access to Tier 5 chat. First of all, no smoking in the pit lane. You can see the little sign there. But also, I put out a message to the Tier 5 chat saying, first person to get binned at the hairpin will be called the Hairpin King for the rest of the season. First person to get binned there. So, we're going to keep a very close eye on the hairpin at Casino and see what happens. There is a very high chance someone dies there.
Oh my god.
Especially in the wet.
Yeah. I mean, my commentator's curse is just more adamant by the day. I mean,
Yeah.
I say anything about a wet race and it just happens at the worst track it could possibly happen.
Oh well,
But
5 red lights.
I'm excited to
Here
watch
we
it.
go. 5 red lights then for the Monaco Grand Prix, and it is a lead for Bouncy, who's got away beautifully off the line. It's a great start, however, for Terms as well, who's got up the inside and got P2 into turn 1. Great job from
Oh
him.
my
Nicky's now
goodness.
getting
Oh my
swamped
God.
behind. There
Oh
are
my
cars.
God.
There's a pile-up down the road. Amarmo is backwards. There's a dead Ferrari of Normbash already. Somehow Muckmage has made up 6 positions in that. Safety car is out already. Benzo's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane, because technically that's where they are. And Amarmo is still trying to get going again. And has done, finally. Somehow with only a broken end plate. How has he managed that?
The thing I was going to say before that happened was
Mm-hmm.
the Dutch Raven is the only one on wet tires.
Oh god, yeah, I haven't got the tyres up. Great shout. There we go.
He made up a lot of positions.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Made up 4. And
Yeah,
then
where
I
is-
thought it
where
was
is
wet.
it?
Like, I thought it was full wet. It looked full wet.
It-
Seems full wet.
If there are puddles on track, and you can see active puddles, it's crossover. Wets are going to have generally more grip, but unless the heavy rain sticks around, it's going to be intermediates very quickly. And I don't know if it's wet enough, from what I can see. By the way, I have spray on. Apologies, we are
Yes,
not
sir.
going to be riding on board with anyone from now on. Because you will not see a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
biggest
hope this
gainers.
goes. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Biggest gainers off the line, of course, Dutch Raven on those wet tyres. Also, Toast, with no front wing, is up 6. Muckmage also up 6. But I don't think they're going to be long for on track, because now we see our first cars come in. It's Dutch Raven pitting, Midnight pitting, Toast pitting, JT pitting, Muckmage pitting, Cobb's following them in, Vince is going in as well. The Ferrari of Grey Taste goes in, and Omarmo, so everyone from 9th down is in the pit lane, including
The
Jake
Williams
Glazer.
had no damage. The Williams had no damage and is pitting on enter, so he actually gained a position by boxing there. He had no damage, but I don't think he meant to be on wets, but he actually just gained a position by pitting,
Yeah,
which is just funny.
he would have gained the position anyway, but it's just funnier that way, isn't it? As we see now,
Yeah.
everyone coming out. Cobb Case, the biggest loser out of that, has actually fell down to P18 because of being held up by having to let Toast go first. Ababa, the biggest loser, off the line, P7 to P17. Unfortunate for them. And Luke Morris as well. Qualified P3, had great pace in quali. Binned it, however, on the way up the hill. Is now down to P6. Has got jumped by Zoso, Jim, and Terms off the line.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone is just happy that they're alive, besides for Normbash and Benzo. But
Well, Benzo's is
I hope-
hardly his fault getting
Yeah.
DSQ'd
I feel
for
bad.
having to not cause a collision. I think is
Yeah,
a
I feel like
little
that happens
harsh.
at Monaco.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens at Monaco all the time.
Yeah. So let's have a
yeah,
look, see if there are any penalties.
Yeah.
No.
I would love to see this go to a dry race. But also a full wet race could be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
There's pros and cons of each thing, because a full wet race might just get too crazy.
But yeah, so here are your intervals for everyone, and we'll
Another pitter.
another player. Yeah, that's Nathan who's boxing. And I
That's
wonder
right.
why they're boxing, because I don't see puddles, so it's not getting wet.
They fixed their wing. I think they double
Ah.
stacked. I think Amarmo was in front of them, and they didn't want to double stack, even though I think double
It
stack
wouldn't have mattered. I don't think it would have mattered.
He's only down to 11th. I think the people that pit had such slow like outlaps because they didn't want to crash. That, I mean, he didn't lose much time at all.
That's fair. He's only lost 3 positions to Dutch, Laser, and Midnight there. Either way, A very interesting start to this Grand Prix. Can't wait to see if we're able to get an interview with some of these drivers at the end to just talk about that incident, because Lord knows we'll have forgot it by the end of this one. There's going to be something else in this.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the steward report. 'Cause I don't even know what caused it at first.
I see Amama was backwards.
Yeah. I'm guessing someone hit him up the inside and like spun him.
Yeah, the issue
Or
is
like
he's
someone had a
facing
moment.
the outside of the corner, so someone's gone to his outside and put him round.
Yeah. And it happened a little bit after turn 1 too.
Yeah, it's not like it was right there. It was like on the okay. Well,
It could have been that he just tried
chat,
to get on the throttle too early.
chat. Do we have POVs? Do we have Benzo or Norman? Chat. Can we get a rundown? I don't think Norm will want to be in chat after that. To be fair, it's a horrible way to start your Monaco GP. Ferrari not having the best of luck this season. Both Grade Ace and Norm struggling so far.
And that was crazy. I mean, that's something you would expect, honestly, but you never want to see it. Yeah, that was wild. I was just scrolling back and I just saw like 8 cars.
It's ridiculous. To be fair, I was too focused on Terms' start, because Terms got an absolutely brilliant start to get up the inside into turn 1.
I saw I was looking at Bouncy, and then
Bouncy was
tires
gone.
up, and I was like, yeah, he had a fantastic start.
Yeah.
And then I saw Dutch Raven was on wets, and I was like, let me see how good his wets are compared to the inters. And then I was scrolling back, and like, I mean, I couldn't even say anything. I was just like, what?
Right. Just so we're all on the same page, chat. Let's work together here, because we're all friends and we all like each other, I think. Here are all the 1 stoppers, and here are all the 0 stoppers. It's everyone from Dutch down. We're gonna leave the position change up so you can keep an eye on who goes where. But notably, I want to point out, Bouncy is P6 in the standings. Finished P6 last time out for Alpine. 8 points to their name, which is the majority of Alpine's points, as we now get the notification that the safety car is, in fact, coming in.
I wonder how this start will go. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you start, because you're not going to get overtaken. And there's not DRS.
Yeah, it's
So
really
he can
just
play
about
as-
breaking the gap. Bouncy's gone early.
Yeah. I mean, he could play this as safe as possible, because no way is he going to get overtaken. But yeah, he's gone early.
He's gone early, and he's also helped pull Terms away from Nicky. There is already a second gap between them, and 2 seconds back to Nicky. It's a perfect restart for the Alpine driver. He's got the gap, and he's got the lead of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, behind them, Terms P2. Nicky hanging on to P3. Oh, there's a big crash! There's a Williams sideways. That is so-so. In the wall, broken front wing, and everyone is having to take avoiding action. It is a VSC for Zoso. And they are now going to have to try and Austin Powers their car out of the wall.
Without getting rear wing damage.
Yep, they're doing their best. It's only up... Oh, that's a heavy hit. And he's been DSQ'd.
Yeah, you can't even...
Oh.
Yeah, I feel so bad.
Yep. I don't even know what to say to any of this anymore. Either way, there's a VIC out.
I think we can clap it up for everyone avoiding him.
Yeah, everyone...
deserves-
I would honestly say Luke was like right behind him. The fact that Luke didn't go around and slam into him, and then Dutch as well. Ridiculously good reaction times from them. Everyone avoided the contact very well.
Yeah, Dutch Raven started on wets, pit on the first lap, and is up like 7
7.
positions.
Yeah. Either way, safety car
Happy I guess
VSC coming in soon.
Yeah, and there's a huge gap between John does work, Luke Morris is in no man's land, and then the front group.
Yeah, I think that's just everyone minding their delta for now. It is hard to build delta in the wet. As there's a little flash there of the VSC, and VSC is over. We are back to green racing. We didn't really get much of a notification, but someone who has made the most of the VSC is Nicky G, who's managed to close up 1.3 seconds with it. Oh, and it's the Alfa Romeo behind them. Jim's clipped the wall. He's lost a bit of front wing at turn 1. And Dutch has lost the entirety of theirs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, turn 1 is deadly. Okay, we've gathered that now. Turn 1 is impossible.
I'm praying it's not wet for me.
Yeah. Right. Let's have a look through the field. Who else has broke the front wing? As we go, for the first time, more than 5 corners under full greens.
I mean, I guess you could probably play a game like who lost their front wing.
Yeah.
Full race.
I think everyone from, Dutch down, including Dutch now, has lost their front wing.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys from Touchdown have pit for new wings. And now he's
Meanwhile,
holding everyone up. I think we could see a move into the Nouvelle Chicane.
that would be risky from Midnight. Will he go for it? We're currently on board with him.
Oof.
He's looking
was
for it.
thinking-
Oh, he's had a
thinking about
moment.
it.
He had a huge
Thinking
moment.
about it.
Nathan's almost clipped the wall. In fact, 4 people have almost clipped the wall in consecutive motion. There are cars wobbling all over the track. It's so fun. Anyway, Amamo's ended up in the wall. He's not binned it properly. He's just tapped to at the front end plate. As meanwhile, fastest laps come through as slow cars make their way around the final chicane. And in comes Dutch Raven from P6. Poor
He's on
man.
the back of Toast. Not gonna get the move. It's slippery on. Yeah.
It's
It's
right
slippery
in that
on the main
crossover.
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think it's just
the rain
slippery
is definitely
everywhere.
easing up. Yeah. I like to watch this in the wet, but I pray I'm not racing this because this
Yeah.
looks tough.
Uh,
I'm unreserved from a race.
Meanwhile, we now have packs beginning to form, thankfully, so we can keep track of specific action. P1 through 3 are now stuck together like glue. P4 through to 7 are together, and then it's everyone from Midnight down.
And then Dutch Raven.
And then Dutch Raven, who's on his own. To be fair, there is a pack off the back of this pack, mainly because of Toast just falling back slightly. And that would be a Marmo, Cobb, K, and Great Ace. Great Ace having a moment at turn 1, but nothing major. As Bouncy
boys
gets a
are
bit deep at Raskas.
These boys are struggling in the braking down into the Nouvelle Chicane. Downhill braking in the wet at like the highest speed you can get on the track. It's gonna be tough. Jim pitting.
Yeah, Jim lost his front wing at turn 1. He's chose to pit now, but his pace wasn't that bad. But consider the fact that there is now a 10-second gap between 3 and 4, and Luke is struggling out of the exit of turn 1. Here comes John Does Work. He thought about it, but got out of the throttle very quickly.
Yeah, I'll see if Luke can do some work in the clear air. I mean, he's already gained a bit of time.
Oh, he's
on
struggling so much, though. He's all over the
John
track.
Does Work is, giving a little love taps to remind him he's there.
I don't think he needs a reminder. I think he just needs he needs some comfort. He's lost a second in the first sector just because he can't keep that rear end under control. Meanwhile, Midnight's absolutely nailing the hairpin every single lap. It's gained nearly a
Dropped
second.
Nathan,
Yeah.
by 3 seconds in a lap. Nathan was pushing him through the first sector last lap, and now he's not even within a time penalty range. That's a great lap, and then now he's right on the back of this next pack.
Yeah, meanwhile, back down the order, Amamo's now on the back of Cobb K. Jim, Great Ace is also boxed. I think he broke his front wing. He is currently P17 and last of the official runners. As Amamo receives our first penalty of the race, does so at the Nouvelle.
I think Luke has to have some damage. He looks like he has no front end. John Does Work looking for a switchback out of Raskas.
I'm looking. I don't know. I just think he's not good in the wet. Some drivers just really struggle in the wet, and I think he's one of them. He's really under pressure now. Run down into the turn 1. John is looking to the outside. Bit of contact. Nothing happens. Luke is still squirming all up the hill now.
Yeah, to me it just looks like Luke's front end just doesn't want to
Oh, Luke's
do
gone deep.
anything.
Oh, he's kept it together though. Great job.
He's got look at that. He's got no grip through the front tires. I don't know if it's a temperature thing. I don't know if those inters are just working for him or if he just can't get them to work himself.
Oh, he's gone deep. It's backed everyone up. There's a pack of cars now forming. Midnight's actually caught back up to the pack. Nathan is nearly caught up to Midnight. All of that hard work that Midnight made is being undone by Nathan. Or corner by corner is just seeing the gap slip away.
It's like Alonso in 2022, just not caring about anything, just doing whatever he wants to do because he knows no one can pass him.
Yeah, a little bit more of an older reference. This is a trolley train. This is what this is. It's a guy who naturally has great quality pace, absolutely nothing in the race, and is just sat in front of everyone, and everyone has to try and figure out a way past him.
Yeah, Caleb made the reference to the Alonso train literally at the same exact time that I did.
Perfect. Meanwhile, at the front, if you're wondering, bouncy in terms are still 1-2. They've got about a 1.5 second gap, or was 1.5 seconds. Much better turn 1 from Nicky G. As Luke Morris now is again under pressure from John Does work. John was looking for it to turn 1. Was ready to go up the inside, but Luke's in fact missed his braking point. Ooh. Now John's got the run up the hill. He's got the ERS down. Luke almost bins it and just about cedes the position to John Does work.
Luke has held up an entire train, and when I went on the off-board shot, you could just see 9 cars behind him.
It's everyone behind him is stuck behind him. There was a bit of a front wing there.
Already dropped him.
Yeah, okay, I need to see. What's the gap at the end of this lap? Because it's got to be more than 5 seconds, right?
There's something wrong with Luke's car. He has no front end grip.
He might have side pod damage, you know.
Yeah, like the car's just refusing to do anything he wants it to do.
If it is damage, it would have been from one of the earlier incidents with potentially.
Could have been turn 1.
It could have been, yeah, it could have been one of the turn 1 incidents. He's now cut the corner. He's got a 3 second, which. Oh, he's out! Oh, and he's parked in the middle of the track. Third safety car out. Everyone has to take a boarding action. Oh no, the McLaren teammate! His teammates hit him. No! And Vince is out. Of course. The only car to find his rear end is his teammate. Of course it was.
How do 8 cars avoid him?
And the McLaren car, who also is his teammate, doesn't.
I mean...
What do you say to that? Actually.
How does Vince do that? I mean, I think it's like 6 or 7 cars just avoided that incident.
Meanwhile, Haas double stack again. Nathan pits and Marmo follows them in. Let's have a look at the tyres. So I assume, gut feeling, they're not changing tyre to a different compound, and they're not. They are going for another set of intermediates.
Dutch Raven just binned it under safety car.
No, he did not. Nathan's got a 5 second for colliding with him.
Yeah, because he spun and then took off Nathan's wing, which he just replaced.
This is Monaco. Why is this track on the calendar?
There's a limit on how many wings you can take.
Is there?
I mean, I think there is. I think
I've never. Well, we're gonna find out, aren't we? So. What the hell? Well, the one positive of this is our race leaders, if they chose to, all 3 of them could box right now and still come out 1, 2, 3. Thus is the gap that has been built by Nathan.
I don't know why none of them did.
I think they're just like, I don't want to risk it. It's got to be the logical explanation for it, right?
Maybe they think it's going to dry up. It does look like it's getting lighter.
Oh, it's definitely getting lighter. It's not as bad as it was. The spray is not as difficult. You can barely see the rain now.
Yeah.
But, oh boy. Our front 3 have had maybe the cleanest race I've seen. As in comes Dutch, in comes Nathan. Jim stays out. Oh, sorry, Midnight stays out. Midnight has now inherited a point, I want to point out. Simply from just existing. Because this is Monaco.
How many wings? 1, 2, 3. Jim pit onto mediums earlier in the race. Sorry,
You just saw that? Wow, okay.
Yeah. I'm looking at the pits on the mediums on lap 7. Okay.
Obviously, that's the right call. Like, very clearly this track is medium tire already.
We've had 14 wings replaced.
So far this race.
Yeah,
That's
12 laps in.
It's more than one a lap. And I'd be surprised if we get more in the next 2 laps because, you know, we are under safety car conditions. But that didn't stop Dutch and Nathan just then. So it probably won't stop anyone else. Other important notes, let's look through the field. Let's just run down the order real quick. We do have Bouncy in a net P1 currently. Has been leading the race since qualifying. Has done an amazing job at staying in the front, though hasn't necessarily looked the most pacey driver. That would be Terms, who is currently in P2, up from P4 on the grid. Did an amazing job off the line, got the launch behind Nicky G, jumped them, and jumped Luke Morris, who is now also out of the race. Nicky G down to P3. The sort of trailing third leader of this race has not necessarily been involved in the front battle, but has been close enough to not get caught up in an incident.
Yeah, and that's all he needs to do. He's a championship leader. I mean, his teammate is his championship rival, and he's in 7th. I mean, Toast had the podium last week.
Yes. Oh no, it was Jim. It was
Jim. Yeah, Jim. I mean,
yeah, Toast was P4.
Toast was P4. Yeah.
Mark was P5. And speaking of, Toast is currently P6, Mark P8. Both up 12 positions from P18 and P20 on the grid.
Yeah, they're having great drives.
So is JT, to be fair.
Yeah, they're all just, they've been in that same triplet pack that whole race, and they've just been, keeping it clean, driving how they need to. And now they're back up with the leaders. I mean, this is big for them. I can't wait to see another 30 wings replace this race.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might hit that number.
So, what have we had so far? We had a full safety lap 1. We had a VSC. Is this the second or third safety car?
This is the second safety car.
2 VSCs.
2 safety cars and 2 VSCs.
That means we got 1 left. Will we beat Tier 6's record of doing it before lap 20? Is the real question. It's likely. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen. It's very much gonna happen, but what will be the record?
Yeah, I think we'll have to see the record across all the tiers. I mean, from what Tier 4 was yesterday, I think that could be a close one. Well, not yesterday.
Last week?
Last week.
There you go.
Last Sunday. There we go.
Hey,
but Tier 4 was last Sunday. I feel like they could break a record.
Potentially.
Tier 2 was on. Tier 2, I was in that race. That was a pretty crazy race too.
Mm-hmm. Tier 3 as well.
I think Tier 3, yeah. I think we had a lot of craziness at Brazil. I think that's just what happens with familiar tracks.
Yeah. And also tracks where no one wants to be racing there, which is currently Monaco for, I would say, about 15 of the 15 current runners. But also, notably, I want to just point out a little fun fact I've noticed. Every single car in the top 9 is either a shade of blue or green. All 9 of them. Both Red Bulls, both Astons, both Mercedes, both AlphaTauris and an Alpine. The only car we're missing from that list is a Williams. And that Williams is currently running P13 and would actually be P10 had they not binned it by spinning. Funny how life works, huh? Anyway.
Yeah, then that'd be all red.
Yeah. Safety car restart. And away we go. Bouncy's already gone. Sent it out of the final corner. Took a bit longer that time to get going, but has still gapped everyone off the start. It's ridiculous how this keeps happening. He's done an amazing job. He's pulled Terms with him. Pulled a second on Nicky, who's pulled a second on John as well in P4. Jake still P5 ahead of Toast. Then JT, who's going to try and follow on from his fastest lap and P2 last weekend to try and keep Aston Martin comfortably at the top of the constructors' standings. Behind them, the other Red Bull of Mark Mage. Now trading positions with John this weekend, it seems. Cobb K under pressures. Midnight looks up the inside into turn 4. Oh, it's the run down to the hairpin. He's got it done cleanly. Well done, Midnight.
Great drive. He is on 4-lap old inters. He's on some of the best tires on the grid besides for Dutch and Raven because they spun and crashed on the safety car. But Midnight is going to be moving up. I mean, 9-lap pressure tires, and everyone else or 10-lap.
Yeah, up next on the grid is Mark Mage, and you can see already they're closing up on the way down to the Nouvelle chicane, but doesn't go for the move there. Will instead try and set up as Cobb K behind gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's track limit violations, but the gap at the front has opened up, and you can see the seconds starting to ebb and flow. Yellow flag, Amamo's out!
And final safety car.
There it is. Lap 15. Right, someone mark it down. 15 out of 39. That's the best we've got so far.
Gone in.
Yeah, type that out in media chat. We need to keep a record of this one. Right, 14 cars left in the race. In comes John, in comes Cobb K. They needed to get off those inters. And I think they both recognised it as well. Cobb, fresh inters, no new front wing for either cars. They'll be right back out at the back of that pack. But, you know, comfortably on the freshest tyres on the grid. The leaders need to box. I don't see a way they stay ahead of the cars behind at this point, unless they get another great safety car restart. By the way, this is what it looks like from a helicopter view, or from the view of the casino at the chicane as every car comes through. Wild.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, it's impossible to overtake.
You say that, Midnight made one.
Yeah, Midnight made a great move. I watched that move.
Yeah.
That's why he was on those fresh tires. I mean, Inters actually wear quite a bit this game. They didn't wear it all on the last game. Like was pretty much no stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not great this year. So.
It's such a weird one because they're so temperamental now. In this game, it feels like you've got to try and get them in the right condition, otherwise they're just gonna melt on you. And if they're, it's too wet, they're just gonna aquaplane. But right now it looks like we're getting closer to that crossover point. The rain is now very light. It's still there, and it's still enough to keep it in intermediate conditions. But we are very much approaching the crossover point. And I wonder if that's what our leading Inters runners are currently waiting for, as Jim pits from P11.
Yep.
Is that a front wing change?
JT said 10 minutes of rain not too long ago.
Yeah, it does look like the rain. Like, we're looking at the front of the pack currently. We're on board with Bouncy. The spray is lessening, and you can see that dry line on the track now. It's very much getting close to the crossover. I say we're about 5-6 of regular racing out.
By lap, I think guaranteed by lap 26, everyone's gonna be on dry tires. Like, you will have to be on dry tires.
And here's the thing, this works great for anyone in that top 5. Because you know they're gonna gap some cars behind, just by the nature of the restarts around here. But at the same time, if you're at the back of that pack now, you should have just stayed out till the next pit stop. Because, sure, you're going to have really fresh tyres. What's that going to do for you over the next 3 laps? It's not going to make any real headway, because the track is just going to dry too fast.
Yeah. Midnight and everyone behind are praying that it stays wet for
another
as long as possible.
5-6 laps at min?
Yeah,
they're looking for 10.
They're praying it stays wet. Because Midnight, I don't think is going to have to pit. Because, I mean, they're 6 laps old, but I think a good 4.5 of them are under safety car. So I'm guessing he's only on like 8% on those inters. Like, he could go take those again, and I'm surprised they're not coming in.
Yeah, I'm surprised that's not coming in. I don't know if that Jim at the back has caused that by only just catching up now. But if so, we are going to go one more lap under safety car, which is going to benefit the guys at the front, who are just going to have fresher tyres.
5 minutes till the end of rain.
5 minutes. Which means the track will be drying a lot longer before then. So it's a good chance now, before 25, we're going to be on dries to the end. We know that mediums go roughly 16 to 19 around here. It's a safe bet to go on them. There is the risky strat of softs as well. Knowing we don't have another safety car coming, if people are aware of that. But I don't expect to see a soft runner for the race, unless they go very late onto softs. Because it's too risky, right?
I think if it's lap 24 and it's dry, we could see some people go onto softs.
It's so risky,
Maybe.
though.
I think people at the back.
Yeah, the people at the back have
but
nothing to lose. Fair enough.
Medium. I don't think softs will be a good choice, but I think medium.
And if we see anyone go onto hards, they've misclicked. There's no way they logically
Yeah, that was a
went onto
mistake.
hards. Though hards aren't actually bad around here. I do want to say. It might
They're
be
good.
just because
They're
it's
just gonna-
impossible to overtake.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna be terrible with this damp conditions when they're
Alright.
cold. They're awful.
Here we go. Safety car in this lap. We do have an Alpine leading the way once again for the third safety car restart of this race. And once again, it is the same top three. It has been the entire time. Bouncy from terms from Nikki G. And Bouncy has gone early. And what that has done is it has opened the field up once again. Has mastered the safety car restart, has Bouncy. Second between every other car, but it's not as big as it has been in the previous laps. A couple of gaps, but nothing major. John's already got the move done. Meanwhile, Jim's actually overtaken both of them as Cobb K and John have both boxed. And I wonder if they've made contact with someone and broke their front wings. Because they are in the box for quite some time. Very unfortunate.
My eye on Midnight with these fresh inners. He's looking really quick.
He's got the look
I
on
think
Mark.
Bouncy
Oh.
has just mastered these restarts.
Yeah, Dutch Raven had a moment there coming through turn 3 at the top of the hill and has dropped behind Nathan, who's now up to P10 with his 3 second of time penalties as well. Meanwhile, Nikki G is under a lot of pressure right now from Jake Laser. The gap is now back up to 9/10. However, the fact that Nikki has fell 2.5 seconds back from the leaders should be sort of indicative of the fact that he's not had the best of restarts.
Not had a good restart like, at all today. Don't know why, but he hasn't had a single restart that he was like anywhere close. Yeah, he's under a lot of pressure. Midnight's gonna get a move down into Rascas, I think.
Oof.
No, he's not.
It's too risky to go for Rascas.
He looked
quarter
like he
just
had a run,
tightens.
but I think he was smart about it with laser pits.
Yeah, Laser says 17 laps into this is too much. What is he going for? Is he going to risk it early onto a set of mediums? He is going onto hards.
Yeah, that's gotta
What
give him
a
his place.
call. That's either race winning or race losing right there for Jake
20
Laser.
laps on a. It's still raining.
Yeah, it is still raining. I don't know why he's gone for it. We're going to have to
Maybe
see how he
soft.
does. Meanwhile,
Midnight's
Mark
the
Mage
move
has been
down the
overtaken.
page.
Midnight's got him down into the hairpin at Casino, and Dutch Raven's got back past Nathan into the Casino section as well. So, a couple of moves being made here on those intermediates.
Laser could be going around this track, walking faster than he is driving right now.
Let's see how he's doing. He's actually gaining time on the cars ahead. That's mainly because they stacked up like crazy. Wow, look at him! He's crawling! He's not even pushing! John is absolutely cooking up behind him. Meanwhile, Great Ace and Nathan having a bit of a battle. Now through... they've actually overtaken Jim, sorry. To maintain P10, so Jim's now out of the points. Meanwhile, Bouncy leads by 1.5 seconds. 6 seconds ahead of Nikki G, and if you're wondering why the gap has opened up so much, Nikki has a broken front wing. I've just seen the front right end plate is missing. That's why Toaster's all over his rear end. And and Toaster's just clipped the wall himself. Heading into turn 1, but it's not done anything negative. Meanwhile, Dutch Raven's got past Mark Mage, who's just sinking down the order. He was the first of the runners who hadn't pit. And
Dutch Raven's also on fresh tires.
Yeah. He's just following Midnight through. Midnight's all over the back of KT.
yes.
Oh! He wants it. Oh, there's
they're making
contact!
contact.
Oh, and he's tapped him wide. That'll be a
There's a
penalty.
penalty?
That'll be a penalty, yeah.
He kind of just
You kind of just
Slid him out of
forced
the
him off the...
Excuse me.
Bumping is racing is the logic there.
That was like a very like, you know.
It was a NASCAR move. That's what it was.
It was really polite too. It was
Yeah,
a very light
just
tap.
doop.
Just kind of slid him out of the way.
Let me just slide on by. Anyway, Dutch is now all over the back of JT. JT is doing an amazing job, not just for himself, but for his teammate as well. Backing up this pack. What he's doing is he's allowing Nicky to get away, because Nicky's got that front wing change as well. It's doing double duty for Aston Martin here. He's holding his position, and he's holding position for his teammate as Midnight's to get right out of the throttle. Toast is in, and I think he's looking for a set of hards. It's too early.
Stop raining.
It stopped raining,
It is too early. It is.
but he's on mediums.
Stop raining. It's very early. Very early.
Jake Laser is still not able to drive on those hards, so it's not the time.
Done. Yeah, no, he's lost like 3 seconds, and I just lost. I looked away at like 3 seconds ago. Yeah, he's losing a lot of time.
JT, by the way, look at the defensive work JT is putting up right now to keep that Williams behind him. Cannot overtake, can Dutch Raven.
Make the switch back.
Oh, he's got the move, maybe? No, backed out of it. Couldn't go for it into the carousel. So now everyone tottles downhill.
Dutch Raven should have gotten that move done there. Kind of made a mistake in the switchback. Didn't quite give him enough space and got blocked off. But I think oh my goodness.
I was 90% certain he was about to pull a qualifying incident right there, but no. Meanwhile, Mockmate just held up Nathan enough. Kim's all over the back end of him now that Alfa Romeo backs out of the move. Doesn't want to go for it. Toaster's losing time, by the way, if you're wondering. Toaster's actually just drifted wide, and through goes John Does Work. So again, the pit stop is a lap too early.
Oh yeah, probably 4 laps too early.
Yeah,
there's
leaders,
still a lot of spray coming off the tires.
Yeah, leaders go through. There's no pit there. Toast actually gets a 3 second. He's just missed the chicane because he couldn't get the car stopped. The front 5, 6, 7 all stay out. 8, 9, all of them. Top 10 stay out. John is actually cooking right now, by the way. He set the fastest lap momentarily. He got stolen by Cobb K behind him, who was just using ERS to keep up. But John is the fastest car on track right now on those fresh inters. So the track is drying. It's just not drying quick enough.
Yeah, Dutch Raven and JT we're both moving quite a lot on the straight there. I think we see a send here. He can't get close enough. He's not setting up these moves.
He's gone deep.
But sells the dummy. JT's gonna come across the track. It's just so hard to overtake.
Oh, is there a little bit of contact there from Dutch?
100%. Just bump grab.
Just a little nudge. Bump. There it is. Little nudge. Just a reminder, hello, I want the move done. Oh, JT's had a massive moment in the tunnel.
Bouncy gets overtaken.
Terms has got him. He's got him through to back. Oh, Bouncy's in the wall. He's managed to keep it together, but those tyres have gone off a cliff. And you've got to be thinking now, they have to box soon because they're just realising there's no grip on those tyres. Terms is gone.
Still too wet.
Terms has just gapped them, by the way. By the way, JT, in all this defending, is actually catching Nicky G. Now, he's going too fast, despite having to hold up 7 cars behind him. In comes Great Ace. Great Ace is the next one to pit for a set of dries. No, he's gone for another set of inters. And a front wing change. Alright.
What is this race?
I'm too tired for this, man. But Terms leads the way. AlphaTauri have a car on the front right now. AlphaTauri didn't score a point last weekend. Jake Laser was P15. Jacob was P12. Jacob, I think, is Terms. But Bouncy's lost 3 seconds to him.
I've seen Dutch Raven hit JT like 4 or 5 times in the last lap.
To be fair, I think Dutch Raven's just getting impatient here. And it's just misjudging his braking points. The pack behind is also getting impatient. Mockmate has never been closer to the back, or to having Jim go right through the back of him. Into the braking point. Mock pulls out, can't make the move. Dutch Raven gets a 3 second for cutting the corner now because of his impatience. And Mockmate has got the move. Out of the chicane, out of Nouvelle into Tabac, has gone round the outside and has broke his front wing in the process. As in comes Bouncy from P2. He's saying it's dry enough. New front wing and medium tyres.
It's not. It's not ready yet.
It's
There's still
not.
so much spray coming off the tires. But I think he felt like he had to do that because of the wing damage.
Yeah. Dutch backs out of the move. Midnight can't see his braking point, but does a good job. I want to point out Alfa Romeo were 5 and 6. Jim just lost a bit of his front wing. And if you're wondering where Bouncy is coming out, with all of that time lost, he's in P11. He's out of the points on those medium tyres. I don't think he's going to gain anything. As Jake has almost binned it into the wall in P14, he's a good 10 seconds back from Toast, who's 12.5 back from Great Ace, who just pit for Inters. And the gap is ever growing. This is ridiculous. Also, JT heard me and has extended the gap between him and his teammate to 9 seconds now.
Yeah, I don't understand how Dutch Raven has not got this move done. I mean,
He's going for it.
Monaco, but you have to set these moves up better.
Oh, late moves on the braking. Both go deep. They've both missed a braking point. Both get a penalty for corner cutting. But Dutch has got the move done this time.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's gone deep. I think he's broke his front wing. He's struggling to get the car turned in now.
I mean, there's been so much moving under braking from the both of them. I mean, yeah. I watched that battle the whole time. There's so much moving on straight, squeezing people. It was gonna happen.
Yeah.
That was gonna happen like that, no matter what. Not something you want to see, and JT's gonna get his revenge.
Apparently, yes. Although I'm not sure how successful it was. Meanwhile, the Alfa Romeos have swapped position. Jim's been let through by Midnight. Jim, of course, with the 6-lap pressure tyres. And JT is now in the wall. He's lost a bit of his front wing. He's going to go wide out of the exit of turn 4. And that's just going to give the inside to Jim, who's not going to fight him much. As meanwhile, one of the AlphaTaris has gone off. That's Jake Laser. He's lost his front wing at the exit of the Nouvelle. And has almost got into the wall at Tabac, but has kept it out just masterfully. As there's a yellow flag, Bouncy is out of the Grand Prix. He's binned it at turn 4. And that is proof, if you needed any more, that it is not time for dry tyres yet.
No. I mean, Jim is actually in such a good position because he did, in one lap, JT went really deep. It's going to allow Midnight to get through, but...
Oh, and he's letting everyone through. There goes Mock
He
Mage.
made that move in one lap, and Midnight couldn't do it for like 9.
Dutch couldn't do it for 12.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't do it until he pushed himself past him, but I think it's going to be softs at the end. I think anyone who saved a set of softs is going to be super happy. But, I mean, Terms is going to come out in P4 if he pits right now.
Meanwhile, speaking of pitting, there is Jake Laser, lapped car, trying to get out of the way currently. Jim, 5-lap fresher tyres and Dutch Raven, is hunting him down right now. As there's a yellow flag in Sector 1, that's for Jake Laser. Just getting out of everyone's way. No
JT's on softs. It's still just not, it's not drying up.
Yeah, okay, we need to keep an eye on that gap. So, oh, by the way, if you're wondering, Toast is now over a lap down. As well. Toast is the Mercedes between the AlphaTauri and the the Aston Martin. Nicky G in maybe the most comfortable P2 he's ever had. Somehow.
I don't even know.
Oh, Dutch has missed his braking point into Nouvelle. That's giving Jim more and more time. The closer Jim gets, the more mistakes Dutch is going to make. That's just a factor of pressure. Look at Dutch, is all under shape now. All throughout that final sector, he's just got no grip through there. No front end at all. And he's gone very, very deep at Raskas. And through goes Jim. Up the inside, into the final corner. Alfa Romeo have got a car on the podium once again.
And they're in a net P3, P4 right now.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if Midnight found his way past as well. because Midnight is also lapping just that much quicker than Dutch Raven. I wonder if Dutch has got front wing damage.
Yeah, I want to see Jim.
Jake Laser retires in the pits.
I want to see Jim and how he can bring that delta down to Nicky G on 16 lap fresher tires.
If you're wondering, by the way, what's going on with JT is struggling for any grip and has now boxed again. Softs are still not the way. It is remarkable that there are drivers who are on their first set of intermediates still. There are drivers who have still yet to box. That is your front two, if you're wondering. Some people behind them are on 3 stops. And here, well, oh, sorry, no, I thought that was Nicky that was pitting. Nope, that's JT boxing, sorry.
Like, they have to pit. Their tires are going to puncture if they don't.
Jake Laser's car is parked, or was parked on the pit exit. So JT's had to take huge evasive action. That's the pace difference, by the way. Toast is now set at 23. That is just about the same pace that they were setting, they being John and Cobb, back when they pit, God knows how many laps ago. 9 laps. So the track has not evolved at all.
Drying out.
It's not drying. The times are still the same. Oh, big broken front wing. Not sure for who. That could be Jim. No. Is it Dutch? It's Dutch. Dutch is missing an end plate.
Yeah, nah, they're going to have to pit because their tires are going to puncture if they don't.
How they've made it this long. Oh, and Terms is out! Terms has binned it! At the Nouveau!
Yeah, that's on. I guarantee he just clipped the left part of his wheel on the exit, that curb. Yeah, 100%. It's that left wheel that's toast. Nicky G just inherited the easiest P1 he's ever seen. And Jim is in a chance to win this race on 15 lap pressure tires with clear air in front of him and only 7 seconds to make 6 seconds to make up in 11 laps. I think he can do it.
Yeah, I agree. 28 laps intermediates are not it, Chief.
Look at Nicky's tires. I mean, they look like slicks right now.
Yeah, they are completely cooked. Also, let's just keep an eye on that gap between him and Jim. Jim, 5.7 across the line to Nicky G. 10 laps to go. Those inters will not make it to the end for Nicky, but we know for a fact, considering he's done 29 on them, they definitely will make it to the end for Jim. 5 seconds already by the top of the hill. That's the gap now, and it is rapidly coming down. Nicky needs to box, and he needs a miracle.
After a last lap, Nicky's if he doesn't pit, his tires are gonna puncture. I mean, you can't go 39 laps on a set of intermediates anywhere.
Meanwhile, JT has inherited a point. Somehow.
Yeah, I mean, just
from this.
finish, you'll get a point.
Yeah.
Toast isn't too far behind that point either.
Yeah, 7.5 seconds back from JT. However, of course, with the penalty to serve at the end of the race.
Yeah, this is gonna be wild.
Yeah. It's all
Jim just needs to keep this clean.
Yeah, Jim just needs to coast up to the back of him. He doesn't need to push that car. One car who is doing very well despite also having the same age cars is Muck Mage, who pit lap 1 for a set of inters and is still competitive with the pack. Like, he's sat in the middle of it. He's definitely struggling for wear now, as Midnight is all over the back of Dutch Raven for what would be a P3. And oh, Midnight's got him into Raskas. We're out of the exit of Raskas. The move is done. Midnight through into P3. It's an Alfa Romeo double podium. On track.
Jim was another 1.7 seconds quicker than Nicky that lap. I mean, I don't even think it's gonna be close. It might be close between Midnight and Nicky because Nicky's tires are gonna puncture. I think they're going to, or they're gonna be on like 95% at the end of the race, especially with the track warming up and drying out.
Here's the thing, I'm questioning where the track evolution is at this point, because I think everyone was waiting for it to go to softs and dries. When the rain stops you 90% of the time, you see it turn around into something different. That's just not happened here. The track is still soaked.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna just. This game is so weird. Like it's just it's one lap's the crossover. I have a feeling one lap's gonna happen, and it's just gonna get like the last 5 laps. It's gonna get so dry. Just a feeling.
Meanwhile, if you're wondering about the rest of the field, Mark Mage is now 1.3 behind Dutch Raven. He's now forming his own trolley train, mainly because of the fact that his tyres are 30 laps old. But Nicky G will start this lap number 30 in P1 once again. But how much further can he take that set of intermediate tyres? It's maybe one of the greatest comeback stories for Jim, however, who has absolutely flown through the field, has nailed the strategy call, and is now 3 seconds away from potentially taking a race win, as Nathan has got the move done on Dutch, as has Mock Mage. They are both now up a position. Mock Mage is somehow P4. How is he doing this on 30 lap old Inters?
Yeah, because Nicky actually went faster than he did the lap before by a good 5 tenths. And I didn't get to see Jim's lap time, but the track is drying up. I mean, I don't think we'll get on the soft tires, but I mean, you just can see how much spray is being kicked up still, but it is drying up.
The grip is there, but it's just not there right now for Nicky G. Not what he needs it to be. He needs it to be so grippy that we have to change over, that there is no choice but to change over. Otherwise, Jim is just going to coast away to a win. Jim has clipped the wall through Tabak, though. He's not had the cleanest of laps here, and is definitely struggling himself. He's on 15 lap old intermediates, which sounds awful, and yeah, it probably is awful. Just not compared to 31 lap old tyres, you know?
Yep, look at Nicky's lap. It's going to be a 28.7 again.
27.2.
Not terrible. Yep, 1.6. He's got his teammate.
Oh!
JT's got to get out of the way.
Now that's interesting that JT has come out between the two. JT is going to be so much faster than Nicky G currently, but he has blue flags. He will have to let the Alfa Romeo through.
He's not letting him through.
It might be he's just that. Rear guarding is illegal here, so he can't do that. He will have to move, otherwise he'll have to try and overtake Nicky G and try and pull away. Meanwhile, Great Ace doing an amazing job for Ferrari. He's on the freshest tyres on track outside of Cobb K, who of course has just pit and therefore is like a good 20 seconds back down the road now. He's on 9 lap old tyres. There is a good chance he could end up in P4 here because he's just got the outright pace advantage. Meanwhile, at the front, JT has let Jim through. So that has happened, but it has given Nicky another lap.
2. This might be an Alfa Romeo 1-2 on the cards.
Yeah, Midnight is within 7 seconds now of the lead of the race. And he's really cooking on those hitters as well.
Yeah, he's moving. Jim,
Nicky pits! Nicky had to pit.
Is it on? It's on another set of inserts.
And a new front wing.
Wing.
Oh, he must have lost more of it.
Pit too. Nathan's just gonna inherit a P3.
Yeah, but it's not going to be his because Great Ace has no penalties. Great Ace is going to get a podium currently for Ferrari. He just needs to keep it clean. Mock's gone for Inters. Dutch Raven's round. I think John spun him. And they've blocked the pit lane. That's Nicky Cheese just ran into the back of.
I said Aston Martin could afford to have a bad race. I didn't mean this bad.
This has gone
But,
from
I mean,
what was a 1-2 for Aston, or 1-3 at least, to a 6-11.
Nicky's still in P6, which honestly is not that bad.
He's not got a front wing, or he's not got a broken front wing, I should specify, for driving into the side pod of a Williams. But he does need to now.
5 seconds.
He needs to be the fastest driver on the track, bar none, for the next 5 laps.
Yeah, he needs laps.
Yeah.
And he needs to do them quick.
Meanwhile, Jim and Midnight, perfect race from them. No notes. Great Ace, meanwhile, also having an amazing race. If he can just get past Nathan, he's secured P3. There's no question about it. Because Nathan's on 12 lap older tyres and has a penalty to his name. There's no point in putting up the fight necessarily, except for trying to maybe back him up into John and cause a collision.
Yeah, Nicky's made up a lot of time already on John. I don't think it's over for Nicky. Nicky can still finish a top 5 position here. Yeah, I mean, the tire difference is crazy. With
This is such
we
a
ran
weird
out of
race.
safety cars so early that
In comes Dutch. Dutch has no front wing, if you're wondering. That's why he's boxed. Mark has almost binned it. He's on medium tyres for some reason. He's decided to risk it and has regretted every second of it. He is now boxed back onto a set of inters. I think everyone has had that idea of doing that. As meanwhile, JT is...
dive.
I missed that.
Wow.
But he gets it done clean?
That
What?
was an amazing dive. Wow.
I missed that.
He was like 3 times back into the hairpin.
And he did it cleanly. No contact.
Beautiful.
Wow.
No contact. I mean, great for Nathan for seeing it and giving him the space.
Mm-hmm.
That's how racing should be.
Yeah. It's a ballsy move, but it's still a completely clean move. And a lot of people will call it like dirty move or dirty racing. No, that's racing. Sometimes you do send it, and if the driver is
Nathan
respectful,
gave him
they'll give it.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you close him off and show that the move is not on, then absolutely him sending it is a mistake. But, you know, you give him the chance.
Space is there, take it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's smart on
Famous Senna
Nathan to
quote.
not lose time. Yeah, I mean, Nathan couldn't afford to lose time. He's got, only a 3-second time penalty, but John is on faster tires than him. Nicky's almost on the back.
Nicky, yeah, Nicky's going to catch him, I think. Nicky now,
Gonna pass him.
heading up the hill. Can he get a good exit out of 1? No. Cobb K gets the fastest lap of the race on a 4-lap old set of intermediates, 22.7. Toast is also cooking on a lap, but he's not really improving on his personal best. Dutch Raven is still out there on soft tyres. He's losing 10th over 10th over 10th. He will now not finish in the points because JT is going to inherit that position. JT, who did just hit the wall.
JT just hit the wall.
Yeah. Just me, I'm aware.
JT's got to make up a lot of time.
It's only a 20-second gap.
Yeah, it's 20 seconds and 4 laps. But 3 laps, he's not because he's lapped.
22 seconds. Just add a 3-second time penalty onto that. It's not great. Meanwhile, Midnight's actually catching Jim here. And I don't want to say team orders.
I would love to see it, though.
I'd love to, wouldn't you? Just
I'd love to see a
let 'em
last
fight.
2-lap battle for the lead.
so they do an entire lap where they go side by side the entire
Side by
lap.
side.
Yeah, they do a procession for the final lap. That would be the most lads thing I've seen. I also mentioned the bin that was catching Jim. Jim's actually just pulled a 1.5 seconds in the first 2 sectors.
He did.
So
Yeah, he definitely did.
yeah. Meanwhile,
Nicky is flying.
Yeah, Nicky is clear of
He
John.
still might get P4,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
So he needs 3 seconds. Dutch Raven just got a 3 second. That's not what I meant by that. And right now, yeah, no, he's on pace to get it. Meanwhile, if you're wondering who that is behind John, yes, that is Cobb K. That is your fastest man on track currently. And he has absolutely cooked himself back up to P7. He could legit be on for P6 despite the penalty.
I mean, he just got to get the...
Oh!
Oh. What?
He just beats the car on the inside of the corner.
How do you take that corner like that? That's almost impossible.
That's ridiculous. You know what? The skill of that
shouldn't
Mercedes... the skill of the Mercedes drivers is to find the impossible. Like, he'll find a move through to back or something.
Yeah.
Or he'll make the move into Raskas. I don't know. Either way, 2 laps to go in this one. And Nicky has already gained the 3 seconds required. He might actually overtake Nathan by the end of the race. Such is his pace advantage currently. The fact that he hasn't got a fastest lap as well is ridiculous. You might be saving it.
Up in a battery left. Yeah.
Crossed the line, 24.1. It is his fastest, but it's a good 1.4 off of the fastest.
Yeah, Kopke has to get this move done, like, now.
Yeah.
Because he needs as much time to get this, to build that 3-second gap.
Do you think he's going for a
pressure tires.
wall, slight wall incident? He's got a lack of downforce. I can see it already. He's definitely damaged that end plate. He's not knocked it off, but he's lost a lot of front end grip there. Meanwhile, at the front of the grid, it's a nice and peaceful drive for the Alfa Romeo boys.
Yeah, they're just chilling off there,
Yeah.
you know.
Midnight's on 27 lap old tyres. Great Ace has caught him by 3 seconds this last lap. Nicky's got Nathan.
Yeah.
And there's a yellow flag for Dutch Raven and JT, if you're wondering. That is what the yellow flag was for. That is for an on-track... Oh, God, yeah, I see it. Cobb and John. If you're wondering, JT has lost a lot of time. And is now under pressure of being lapped by the Alfa Romeo of Jim. But he's desperate to get past
Gas. Oh, these guys want to make dives, but then they're too far back. But then they're like, might as well. But then they kind of half go for it.
Here's Cobb again. Turn 1 now. We're going to go on board with him for most of this lap to see what on earth he decides to pull off. Meanwhile, JT and Dutch are still fighting. They've got the leader of the race right behind them. They do need to be careful. If they cause an incident, it will be hell to pay for them in the steward's office. They are literally side by side right now. Jesus Christ, boys. Please, not on the final lap. Anyway, back to Cobb K. The most interesting man on track. Will he go for it? No, he won't. I thought he was honestly going to send it. Gets all over the curb. Probably will through here as well. Let's see. No, he stays off it this time. Realises the fault. Needs a good exit. Doesn't get it. Meanwhile, JT got Dutch in the end for what will be a P10. Into Nouvelle. No move made. Into Tabac. No move made. It doesn't really matter because across the start-finish line, after one of the most insane races at Monaco we have seen, JT's just binned it. And Jim just raged. Will finish P1. And it will be an Alfa Romeo 1-2 with a Ferrari in third. Nicky G will get P4. Nathan P5. Will John catch him in the end? With penalties, no. It's only P6 for him. Cobb P7. JT will be P10 alongside Dutch Raven. And we are just waiting to see the end of the final battle of the race, which is Toast and Muck Mage, who I didn't realise were battling until this lap. Round the final 2 corners they come. Through Raskas and now onto the main straight. A little bit of contact in the rear. All the ERS being dumped by Muck Mage. Can he get the move across the line? No, he can't. It's only P9 for him. And P8 for Toast. What a Monaco Grand Prix. What on earth was all of that?
I mean, yeah, Chazzy, they got it right. I mean, if Nicky pit 5-6 laps earlier, he would have won the race.
Absolutely. He had the pace for it. And just, it never materialized. In the end.
Yeah, just,
right.
That was a terrible, terrible strategy. But yeah, I mean, the Alfa Romeos, they did what they needed to do with the cars ahead, and they secured another second 1-2 of the season. I mean, not their second 1-2, but we've had back-to-back 1-2s. Camera's gone. Yeah. They're back in the fight with Aston Martin. I thought Aston Martin had, you know, the gap that they would have had, but Alfa Romeo's going to close that up right away.
Yeah.
I mean, they might even overtake them based off this race.
Yeah, they might.
40.
As apparently your camera just didn't show up there at the end. But either way, there is your finishing order. Don't worry, I fixed it. It's just me.
Hey.
There you see your finishing order. Cobb K will get the fastest lap at the end. 22.7 is comfortably the fastest lap by over a second to the next, or well, 0.6 to the next person, which was Muck Mage, who almost made the move on Toast on the final lap. Of course, the Alfa Romeo 1-2 is the key talking point, though. from 5th and 13th to 1 and 2, and for the Aston Martins, it's kind of the opposite. From 2nd and 17th, honestly, the fact that he was 17th on the grid is ridiculous, but yeah. What a race! What a race. What do you say about any of that?
It's the same thing as last. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
So much went on, and the person that won the race did not look like he was going to win the race 20 laps in.
No, he did not. But I think that's the beauty of these sorts of races, is that we just don't know ever what's going on. I don't know why Jim is in the wrong media box, but that's fine.
Because he commentates Tier 4.
Great. Well, you know who we can get instead to come to have a little bit of a chat? That would be Midnight. Let's get Midnight in here to have a little bit of an interview real quick with the man, the myth, the legend. It is Midnight. Welcome to the interview booth, my friend, as I pull you up on stream properly now. Congratulations on... Maybe I've got the wrong camera listed on the thing. You know what? It doesn't matter.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's really not. It's just my profile picture. Congratulations on maybe the most hard-earned P2 I've seen out of you in all my time watching you race. Congratulations on the 1-2 for Alfa Romeo as well. How are you feeling?
I am sweaty. I am tired. But as you mentioned, it feels good to be back on the podium. That was a well-earned. And yeah, I mean, Jim found himself going into the pits 3 times. I had to go in twice. But yeah, we just went in at the right times, I guess.
Yeah, that last pit stop onto Inters seemed to work almost perfectly for both of you. The conditions never cleaned up, even though it felt like it was going to dry out at some point. Just never seemed to do so. Were you at all worried that that was going to happen and play into the hand of the Inters runners that had stayed out? Or were you always sort of cautiously optimistic that no, it's going to stay wet the entire time. It's not going to dry out?
When that last safety car came out, and right before it was about to regain, I had Mark come on the radio and tell me 5 minutes until the rain was going to stop. And that's, yeah, me and Jim were a little worried, and we weren't sure. We're like, this could play out really badly for us. And then we had one of our Tier 1 teammates, Throw Yogurt, hopped in, came through big with the engineering calls, and he noticed someone went in for hards, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he just noticed that they were not fast at all, and it was Inters, and he just kept a quick eye on that. And we were happy to know that, yeah, it just felt so slick out there still. Some guys were going in for new Inters, and you could see like Cobb with 122 in the wets, or on Inters, when it was still just slick out there. Yeah, some guys were going way faster than me, but I just stuck it out. I know I had 80% degradation on my back rears on those last 2 laps, so I was really nursing things and saw Great Ace on my ass. I was scared.
I feel that. I just want to say it genuinely was a huge pleasure of mine to watch. OTC, if you have any questions to ask as well, feel free to do so, because the wind has picked up here and I do need to shut my window.
I mean, you were behind... I forget who it was. JT. You were behind JT for what seemed like 30 laps. I mean, and then Dutch Raven came in and just politely moved you aside to, take that attack on him. But you kept it clean behind JT. You kept it clean a lot of the race. What were you thinking on like 12 or I think it was 16 lap pressure tires? Then JT, and just trying to navigate, not putting yourself in a wall, putting JT in a wall, and just being stuck behind for so long.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make sure I kept my nose clean, kind of as you mentioned, and I was just so delicate. I heard Jim, who had to pit like twice before me, and he was like, it was just a long ass line of us just behind JT, it felt. And as you mentioned, I saw Dutch Raven coming in, and I locked up the rears too, so I don't think that was totally on him. And then I just ended up going wide. I was happy to just tuck right back under him and just stick around with JT again. And yeah, he just felt so slow when we were coming around to the start of sector 2 and the hairpin. it was a struggle. My legs are sore.
Yeah, and then I mean that must have been such a relief, being stuck behind someone on older tires, and then you were closing up to Nikki and Jim. You were closing up so fast, but just the relief that you must have had when you saw Nikki actually went into the pits and you didn't have to take another car. I mean, that
It was
great.
No, yeah. Throat was all like, "Hey, you guys are got 1-2 right now." As soon as Nikki went into the pits, and I was like, "All right, just hopefully these rears don't puncture on me." It was a hell of a race by Jim too. I had to let him go a little early on, or like in that after that last safety car too, and he had it though. Jim had it all today, and I know he's doing the tier 4 comms, so good job from our team principal.
And just
Go ahead.
I got one more question. What were the tires like at the end? Because we saw Nikki. I mean, what do you do, like 31 laps or something like 32 laps? And then you were close at the end. But like, just what were those tires like? And did the track ever feel like any better? It didn't get much better, but did it ever like feel better?
I mean, not to me. It felt like it was as slick as it was from the start of the race through, and I think that's probably because I stuck it out on such old tires finally when, like, I mean, I wasn't on 32 levels like Nicky was. I think that was his mistake. He should have gone in like lap 25 or something. He should have went in 10 laps earlier. He probably would have had this one in the bag. I think he had a big strategy mistake call there. So it was so slick, and when the rain stopped, it was so greasy out there still. It was crazy. So I was happy with how things played out.
Congrats on the P2.
Yeah, congratulations
Thank you.
once again. I wish we could get your teammate in here to have a chat with him as well for what was a monumental drive from him. But of course, he's preoccupied with a different tier right now, so we have to kind of leave him. And it turns out Great Ace doesn't know where the channel is, so that makes things really easy to interview him. But either way, thank you for popping in and having a little word with us. And hopefully we'll see you again next week at China for potentially another podium for you.
I'm looking forward to coming back here often. And thanks for the call, gentlemen. I'm going to have to go back and watch this amazing race. It seemed like we kept you all entertained.
Thank you for doing so. All right. As I quickly try and transition us back to looking like regular human beings and not messed up, that was maybe the most entertaining race I've ever had the pleasure of watching.
Tier 5's been great. I mean, commentating has been so easy because they just do my job for me.
What is our job? Like, our job is to commentate the most ridiculous
People
30-plus laps every single week.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, next week we're not going to commentate 30 laps. It will be 29, I think.
It's still going to be a lot of chaos because it is China.
Yeah, China is a track a lot of people aren't familiar with, and there's a lot of DRS there, which is going to be different. There's going to be a lot of overtakes.
Yeah.
Not that many walls, but a lot
people will find them. There is the inside of the hairpin.
Oh, I have no doubt. People will find them.
Also, turn 1 is going to be a nightmare. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, people pitting.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Who's going to Hamilton it into the pit lane? Place your bet. Everyone place your bet ahead of time.
If it's wet, someone is definitely
Everyone's doing it if it's wet. No one's making it through turn 1 if it's wet. What are you on about? Either way, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week for the Chinese Grand Prix and Shanghai. One of my favourite tracks to commentate. It from myself. Thank you for tuning in from OTC, otherwise known as Dreams, because that's its actual name, apparently. Graphics team. I don't know what Pun's cooking. Anyway.
Nah, Dreams is good.
Dreams is good. All right. Well, you know what else is good? This broadcast. We'll see you next week for more of it. Tier 5 rounds you out. Have a good evening.